This is our lesson on solving equations with absolute value. The first thing that we need to look at is what exactly is absolute value. Absolute value is the distance from 0 and is represented with this symbol, an X between two straight lines. They look kind of like L's or 1s. Okay. So the distance from 0. Distance from 0 is always positive. Just as you don't say you traveled negative 12 miles to somebody's house, your distance is always going to be positive. So some examples here. The absolute value of 5 is 5. The absolute value of 9 is 9. Okay? 9 is 9 units away from 0. The absolute value of negative 4 is positive 4. Negative 4 is 4 units away from 0. The absolute value of negative 267 is positive 267. The absolute value of 0 is 0. 0 is 0 units away from 0. And the absolute value of negative 14x would be positive 14x. Once you understand the concept of absolute value, you can start putting it into equations and solving those equations. So for example, here we have the absolute value of 2x minus 3 equals 17. So what we're asking in this problem now is what number, so what can we put in on the left side so that this is 17 units from 0. The right side is telling us it's going to be 17 units from 0. Well, positive 17 and negative 17 are both 17 units from 0. So we're going to have to write two equations. We know that 2x minus 3 could be positive 17, and we know that 2x minus 3 could be negative 17. And then we solve both of those equations. So we add 3 and we get 2x equals 20. Divide by 2, x equals 10. For 2x minus 3 equals negative 17, we add 3, we get 2x equals negative 14. And we divide by 2 and x equals negative 7. So remember, when you have absolute value equal to some number, you're going to write two equations because you're looking for what would go inside that absolute value so that you ended up with an answer of 17. We can check our answer too by plugging these back in. 2 times 10 is 20, minus 3 is 17. The absolute value of 17 is 17. 2 times negative 7 is negative 14. Minus 3 is negative 17. The absolute value of negative 17 is positive 17. Finally, you may be faced with a problem that looks like this one. 2 times the absolute value of x minus 7 plus 5 equals 11. The first thing that you want to do is get rid of everything outside the absolute value. So we need to get rid of the 2 and we need to get rid of the 5. Remember, when you're undoing things, you do it in reverse order. So normally we would do multiplication first and then addition. But if we're undoing it, we want to get rid of the addition first. So we're going to subtract 5 from each side. That leaves us with 2 times the absolute value of x minus 7 equals 6. Then we want to undo the multiplication by 2, so we divide both sides by 2. On the left, the 2's cancel and we're left with the absolute value of x minus 7. On the right, 6 divided by 2 is 3. So now we've got absolute value of something equals 3. So we need to ask ourselves, what number is 3 units away from 0? Positive 3 and negative 3. So x minus 7 must equal positive 3 or x minus 7 must equal negative 3. Because that's what we want inside the absolute value. And then we solve each one. So we add 7 to positive 3 and we get x equals 10. We add 7 to negative 3 and we get x equals 4.